Welcome, everyone, to the latest episode of The Testing Room, where three of the gaming industry's best video game consultants who have never actually consulted on a video game bring you new topics each and every week. As always, I'm Alex, aka The Gozfather.
I'm Christian, aka Pseudo45.
I'm Preston, aka Funkadelic Jedi.
Yay. And we like to kick things off by checking over at Preston's comment corner. We're going to roll tonight because Daddy's tired and tonight's not me. So we'll let Preston kick things off over in his corner and see what's happening with the comments.
So we did get a comment from Tori from the part 3 of Wolfenstein. Oh boy, let me tell you, playing this last part while dealing with brutal sinus infection and being on medication that really wants you to take a nap was an experience. Unfortunately, naps were not an option because I still had Nazis to kill. It genuinely made me feel like BJ after he's been stabbed one too many times. When your health drops to like 20 and everything gets fuzzy. Because of that, this section took me forever. Trying to take down the London Monitor in that state was absolutely not fun.
Yeah.
Tekla is one of those people who is completely unhinged, but also incredibly good at math. This was like the secondary person you would get. We got Jay, so she got Tekla because she went with.
I just mean like, I love the description of one of those people who's completely unhinged and really good at math, and I'm like, I want to be like that meme or whatever that like leans in and is like, what do you mean by that?
As someone who is not good at math, I fully support letting her math as hard as she wants. Seeing her pile of dead Nazis during the base raid was such a good for her moment. She learned how to shoot a gun and immediately committed to it, and honestly, respect. The second death of Wyatt at the end hit me way harder than I expected. Yeah, watching that was pretty rough when I saw it in the replay. Especially since I saved Fergus. Hearing him apologize for shooting at us and admit that he can't live like this added such a raw level of humanity to the story. Moments like that really solidify why you're doing what you're doing, why killing Nazis matters in this world. That said, the ending itself felt
in any world.
Yeah, in any world, yeah. That said, the ending itself felt a bit lackluster. Killing Death's Head was surprisingly underwhelming. For someone who committed so many horrific acts, his death felt way too easy. He deserved more suffering. The game also leaves you without much closure. You don't see what happens to everyone escaping the prison. You're left wondering if your actions actually made any meaningful impact on the resistance or truly hurt the Nazi regime. Even with that abrupt ending, I absolutely loved this game. This is the first-person shooter I've ever fully finished. I would gladly go back and play the alternate timeline just for the experience. The game does an incredible job pulling you in, showing you a world you never want to live in, and delivering a story and dialogue that makes you deeply care about the people in the resistance. I give this game a 4.5 out of 5 punching Nazis punches. The abrupt ending and lack of closure definitely knock it down a bit. If I had played this when it originally came out and didn't know more was coming, I would have been seriously annoyed. Yeah, I could agree. I'm genuinely excited to play the rest of the series. I can't wait to get to Wolfenstein 2, because one thing I've learned from this podcast is that when Christian says a game is going to be incredible and he can't wait for you to see what's coming, we're in for something special. I've always said it once and I will say it again. Great pick, Preston. See you in the next one, Tori. Yep, we'll be going into Old Blood, which was a, not DLC, but like a side shoot, like a prequel thing. And then we'll do
like a spin-off.
New Colossus, and then the New Bloods. So we will get there. We will definitely get there.
Are the spin-offs as long as the OG game?
So.
No? Okay.
Yeah, I'll probably be shorter parts.
No. Well,
Gotcha.
I don't know about New Bloods. This New Bloods is the one that I have not played, so I don't actually know. I know I have not played this other the Old Blood. I have not played that spin-off, but I do know of it, and it is much shorter.
Interesting.
It was also, but at the time, it was also priced accordingly as well. Like, it was not like a full price.
Like $29 instead of 50 or something.
So
when games actually respected your wallet and did stuff, sure, I got it.
Yeah, but yeah, so so it's going to be shorter, but then the second game is, yeah, it's something for sure.
Okay. All right.
Can't wait
Cool.
to get to it.
Anything else?
We do have new releases. I'm going to hold it off until next week. I want to organize that a little bit better. I'm going to start using Fantasy Critic for my new release schedule, so that way we get all even like the nice obscure ones that we like didn't think about. So I know there was one this month that I totally forgot about that I heard someone talking about. Like, oh, I would have liked to mention that one. So I'll be using that. I just want to do some more research because they do not give me what consoles and where it comes out on. So I want to get the list of one I like and then figure out which consoles they come out on. So I'll have that prepared for you guys next week, so you hear about all the February games the second week of February. But yeah, other than that, we'll get into the weeks.
Cool. All right. Who wants to kick things off?
I can go.
Go for
Sure.
Play Trails.
Yeah. It's
Moving on.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. No, I'm at the end. I'm at the final chapter before the final part of Act 3 before you hit like what is the finale, which is just the dungeon, the final dungeon and the final boss. It's great. You know, nothing new to add there. The only thing that I'm going to add or that I want to say is that I'm hoping that the next set of game like with this, because this game is supposed to set up the final pair of games like that. This is it. Like this goes into what the end of Trails is going to be. And this formula that they've done for it has lasted all 4 Cold Steel games, the one like intermission game, and then all 3 of these Daybreak games now. And it is, I'm done now. Like you need to do a different formula. Like these, so it's always the same thing, which is you have multiple chapters, but then throughout the chapters, there's this like little side dungeon that it's honestly, you know what it is now that I'm fucking thinking about it.
Memento?
It is it's Mementos. Okay. Yes, it's the Mementos. It's exact. I don't know why I did not put this together until this literal minute right now, but that's literally what it is fucking Mementos. Except, so it's optional in this game, or in all of these games, unlike Persona, which is story will make you go into Mementos, right? Mm-hmm. This is, you don't have to do it, but you will not get the true ending. Like, it's just straight up like,
so you
beat the game. Yeah, but when you beat the game, it will apparently... like it tells you at the end, like a little pop-up will be like, hey, you know, if you really want to see what happens, because none of this is real, so if you really want to see what happens, do that. And it's just like, all right. And it does so far as to not even let you save at the end. Like, it'll just put you back to the moment, like you're like the no return moment, and shove you back there and go, okay, you can start the grind now since you wanted to put it off for so long. It can happen up until this moment, basically. Which, you know, bang. But, so I just do it as soon as it comes up. It's the same thing as Mementos, right? I'm just like, I'll get as far as the game will let me go, and then I stop, and then I can keep going until it happens again. Mm-hmm. Persona has the benefit of, and you know, their games in general, have the benefit of not coming out very often, and so when it does, it's like, okay, I know that this is what it's going to be, blah, 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 but like, since Trails has been catching up to the Japanese releases, like you guys know, I've been getting a new Trails game every fucking year. And they usually will do enough to like try and like be like, oh, it's different because of this or that, and blah, 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 or there's so much story happening at the same time that you're just like, cool, I'm plugged into the narrative. And that's still what's happening here as far as the narrative is concerned. Like, they're really going for it, which is awesome. But I'm just like, every single time, like, I usually don't do this, but for this one, as soon as I just play on normal throughout these games, right? Like, I'm not, you know, doing anything crazy. I'm just playing through normal. But as soon as that dungeon level comes, I just drop it down to very easy. I'm like, okay, cool. And I just like... like just push right through, get to the end, I'm like, thanks, bye, and then I put it back up to normal as soon as I get out, and then I keep going. That's because I'm just like, I don't want to do this anymore. And so I'm hoping that the next set of games are like, now that everything's caught up and there's no like rushing to try to get everything like day and date with everything, I'm hoping that we get a switch up to the formula, because I'm even if it's another even if it's just 2 games left, like if they're just like, yep, we're gonna knock this out in 2 and it'll be done, I don't want to do another 2 Mementos grinds. Like I don't want to do it.
Do you think tying together, a story of 18 games, 16 games or whatever, do you think these final 2 are going to be like pedal to the metal from start to finish, or do you just think they're going to be 100 hours long a piece?
Given Trails and how it does its story, I think the answer is both.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I'm complaining about this grinding situation, right? But like genuinely, outside of the first tutorial chapter, which is usually getting like people like settled back into the world to be like, okay, so it's been 8 months since the events of the last game, so here's where everybody's at now, and here's this, like they, the tutorial chapter or the prologue is usually settling into all that stuff. From that moment on, though, it is just like, okay, so we're going. Like you don't have a chapter that like you're like that nothing happened there. Like that doesn't happen in any of these games. That being said, I am at like 50 hours ish, so like, I think the answer is both. I think that it's going to be pedal to the metal, just like all these other games are. It's just also going to be long as fuck. But that's because they have so much stuff to do and to pull from. Like I'm getting, dude, like, I know that developers have to say this or whatever, but like, I genuinely, like, it's a lie. If somebody tells you like, oh yeah, this game is a good jumping in point if you've been waiting to get into, shut up. No. I got a flashback to a character. Now they do explain it. They do explain it. But I got a flashback to a character from 7 games ago. 7, I think. And it's like, they're like, yeah, look, you remember this? And you're like, if I didn't play these games, like, I would have looked at them and like, who's that supposed to be? Like, and now characters do be like, I wonder if it's that, or, oh, maybe we'll find out later. Like, they kind of try to string it along until like the reveal happens. But like, no, it's such a lie. You have to play. That's why it's so good that they're doing these remakes, because once they get through the pixel art, people like Alex will finally have they won't have an excuse anymore. They'll be like, oh, well, since all these are in 3D nice graphics now, I can play them all.
There you go.
But it just makes it sound like I hate pixel art games, which is actually not true. But it's fine.
You have admitted on a recording of this podcast
Find it.
that pixel art styles in general, you stick your nose up a little bit at.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fine.
I know, yeah.
I still like them. I still play them, right? And I can do like the Final Fantasy pixel art and the little sprites and stuff. But yeah, that's fair. Okay.
You prefer newer graphics.
I prefer.
3D art.
I prefer.
Yes,
Yeah.
prefer new shiny.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's fine. All right. I can go next. I don't have much, honestly. Work's just continue to be so busy and travel and other stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't played a whole lot. I spent some time today playing Arc Raiders for the first time in a bit. Played a couple of matches with Christian earlier. We did pretty well. And then I spent some time with Preston later, like recently, just a few minutes ago, getting him caught up to where I was. And I think now we are almost caught up to Christian in the way of quests. Like we're maybe one behind or something
Which
like
is crazy because you guys have played more than me, so I don't know how I ended up doing this, but...
Still a lot more bullshit runs, a lot more
there's
catching up stuff. Just
yeah, there's different things you can do, right? Like we spend a lot of time just running around and farming and doing other stuff. We did have a pretty good match earlier where we were running Preston, got shot from behind, and I was like around the corner of a building, so he ran around the corner of a building, like up on the roof. These guys were chasing, but they didn't know I was there. So I started shooting one, and they didn't see Preston, so I think they just thought like I was him.
Guy,
Yeah.
So then they started coming like at us. Like I would pop these guys, and Preston pop these guys. They're like, they're still like 2-on-1, and then Preston and I got lucky. We both popped up at the same time and just bombed this guy, and he went down.
So
he didn't
mad.
die, but he went down. and I think they realized, like, oh, there's 2 people there, and I did not know that.
Yeah.
And they broke off pretty quickly.
We did not see them again.
But I don't think so. We did see 2 other people nearby that could have been them. I can't guarantee it was them, but that was also pretty funny because they were fighting some Ark, and they were doing okay, but they started running from like 3 or 4 Hornets that were chasing them. And dude, as soon as they bolted around this alley, I had the Pharaoh out, so like a little sniper, and I popped one of those guys that's being shot at,
Yeah, you did.
and he dropped instantly. Like you just saw,
The dude was on the verge
you just
already,
saw like
yeah,
his shield
so, yeah.
explode. And I didn't knock him out because he was crawling, but it was funny because like, I don't know that maybe he probably didn't think it was me because they were being chased by like 3 or 4 different
so you
things.
probably thought it was the Ark.
And it was a pretty good shot from distance. Like we were way up in a building, and that was pretty funny. But yeah, we had some fun. We had some good runs.
Yeah, it was good.
So I did that. That's really all I've played. I'll be honest. I haven't done. I'm trying to think. I haven't done much of anything. Even on the Steam Deck, like I downloaded Telltale
Expanse.
Expanse. Thank you. I played maybe 40 minutes of it, 30 minutes of it, and that's all I've had time to do. I really don't think I've played anything else. Oh, Wuchang Fallen Feathers.
Yes,
That's what I've played. So I've Wuchang Fallen Feathers. I played, I think I'm about chapter 3. They don't break them up into like defined chapters because it is a Souls-like. But if I look online, try to figure out like where I'm at, they kind of have them broken up in like specific zones. And if you take them linearly like that, I think I'm in like chapter 3 of 5, maybe. But yeah, it's fine. It's fun. It's, whatever. But that's all I've done. So not a whole lot. I don't know what's on the horizon. I'll probably continue to play Wuchang just to get through it.
Can I tell you, that sentence is the thing that I don't understand. Like, I'll probably do it just to get through it.
Well, no, I don't mean it like in a negative way. Like, I'm just saying, like, I'll probably continue to finish.
That's not a positive thing to say.
I mean, I'm enjoying it enough. It's not the greatest game ever made, but it's a decent game. Did we talk about me breaking this on the podcast last time?
You sure didn't.
Oh,
No.
okay. Well, then we need to explain. I'm sorry. I thought we did, so I just thought everybody knew. Okay. So this game is very pretty. It is a very pretty game.
It's very good.
And it's a very well done idea on a Souls-like. So like you can take 2 weapons and they have a bunch of different options. They have a longsword and a dual blade and an axe and a lance. So like I started off with lance. And I had a sword, but I didn't really use a sword. Right now I do have this cool like sword whip though, that like when you get into a combo, it's like longsword, then on the 3rd swipe it like stretches out, like it unhinges itself and does like a whip and come back. So there's like some cool stuff you can do. Now, and there's magic. So like I have magic. There's no caster classes. Everybody can earn magic spells by beating certain enemies throughout the game. So like there's a magic aspect to it. And then on top of those 2 things, I think everything else is the same. You have your normal like throwables, like fire pots and stuff like that. But with those very interesting things, I think it made it very difficult to balance this game. In fact, I don't think these Chinese developers know how to balance a Souls-like game, which makes it the prettiest but worst Souls-like game I've ever played. And like I was getting like I would call myself a veteran. I'm not the most experienced, but I've played enough like hundreds and hundreds of hours of Souls-like games by this point, right? Like over the years since Christian got me into Bloodborne years ago and so on. Like I'm good enough to where I can get in these games, at least like the tutorial bosses, like once you lose to the first one because you're meant to. Beyond that, I can 1 or 2 tries knock out the first 2, 3, 4, 5 bosses before you really start to like hit walls, right? Because I'm experienced at these. Every boss was taking me like 9, 10, 11 tries, and like all the bosses are very fast, and I would be like, where's the freaking dodge, or sorry, not where's the dodge, but where's like the parry, like why I'm doing something wrong. And then I found like, no, you just don't have a parry yet, because you have to buy that as a skill later. You don't give it, and not every weapon has a parry, but there's also no shield, so like not everything has a block either. Sometimes you just gotta move, and on top of that, like if you get knocked down, the animation to get up is the slowest animation I've ever experienced in one of those games. There's no like roll out. So there are many times where if you're not careful, you'll get juggled. Like you'll get knocked down, and in the getting up animation, it's just enough time for them to hit you with their next attack. So you stay down, and like there's plenty to the died. So like early on, I was getting pretty frustrated, and I was like, this sucks. Like what's wrong with this game? And I was like, is it me? Like maybe it's just a me thing, and this is more of a Sekiro type, not like a full-blown Souls-like game. And what I learned is no, it is a Souls-like game. It's just there were every Google thread, the Steam community, like everything is like pretty game, the worst Souls-like game you're ever gonna play. The bosses are faster than you. Every boss is. There's no boss slower than you. There's no big like sluggish boss is powerful. Like every boss is faster than you regardless of their design. It is the slowest animation by time for any game, and then the game does a bad job at respecting your inputs. So you can attack, like you can be in the middle of a combo, be like attack, and in the middle of that hit dodge, and then it's like nah, you're locked. And then you can be in a combo like hitting the enemy, like hit, and the enemy still goes through with their attack. Like there's no such thing as a stun lock on these people. But on the flip side, that means they will hit you in the middle of your locked attack, and you just take hits, right? And then there's like some bosses whose poise meter is just near infinite. It's like impossible to like stagger. So everybody was like, this sucks. So there was somebody who was like, hey, try this fun little glitch. And I'm like, okay, let's see. So in this game, like in a Souls game, you get your souls, and then it's like, where do you want to put it? Strength, agility, health, vitality, whatever, right? Like that's how you level up. This game doesn't do that. You get levels, but your levels mean nothing. Every time you get a level, you get a skill point. So then you have to go buy skills with that. And within the sphere grid, because it's literally a sphere grid, you might be like, here's a sword skill, and here's a new dodge skill, and here's a pretty roll, and then it's like, here's a agility point, and here's a health point, but here's another sword skill, and then here's a health point. So you can't just be like, oh, I need a bunch of health. No, because like that's not how it's laid out. You can't pick health, right? So what they said is there's this interesting glitch where you go to purchase a skill, like a level, but instead of hitting continue, you just hit escape and be like, no, let's back out of it. And there's just a standard animation built into the game that, like, just for a minute, like for a second, I guess, when you close out, your mouse disappears. And when your mouse disappears, if you just spam the click button, the game thinks you've purchased a level, and you can, with no skill point, or with no levels, like no souls, you will get a level for as many clicks as you do. So, if you click 322 times, I will have 322 available skill points to buy all the skills in the game.
Very nice.
And when you buy all the skills in the game, as I did, it finally becomes a balanced game. Yeah. It doesn't become easy, and you don't become invincible. I mean, Christian saw, like, I was on a boss earlier. It still took me like 7-8 times to do it, but it became possible.
More manageable.
And yeah, so like, that's the crazy thing. It is the most broken, unbalanced Souls game you'll ever play. If you break it back, it gets pretty good. Yeah. But you have to break the game to make it pretty good.
No, I think that any time that I've seen you explain, like when you were playing this game, you never used the words pretty good. It's always been the most middling phrases I've ever, like, I'm liking it well enough. It's fine now. Or like, even like the boss that you were fighting today, you're like, I don't know, man. This is just like really pissing me off, and I'm not having fun. And then
that was like the hard.
But then you were like, oh, never mind. I found
like
a magic spell that I could spam that locks this thing. You're like, yeah, cool. So I did it, and you're like, okay. And you're like, well, now it's fine. And I'm like, but it's not, though. Like...
To be just to be clear really quick, too, by the way, that magic spell I got early on in the game, so there was no guide and no cheating in that fight. I just decided at one point, like... what happens if I throw the spear at her, and it did a huge chunk of damage and stunned her. So for the rest of the fight, it was dodge, 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 get the spell, spear her, dodge, dodge, dodge. So it was legit. Just so we're clear. But yes.
Yeah.
I
don't know. It's just like I was looking
he's right. It is mid. I do make middling comments. It's fine now that I broke the game back. I will say this: So I was gifted the game so that it's an easy way to be like move forward. If I would have paid, I probably would have refunded it. So I don't know that I would recommend like anyone else purchasing it because it's broken.
Just be done.
But like I am enjoying like what I'm playing. I think
but you're not. But you're not. You're like That's the thing. You're describing. I would have refunded it. I cannot recommend that anybody ever go play this game. At the best of times, it's fine. Like that's just not having fun. That's just not enjoying. You're not. That's at that point. And then I was looking at. I was like, let me just pull this up and just to look. And like I even at your own criteria of like I'm just looking for something that I don't have to engage with super heavily. So no,
because it is hard for me to focus on other stuff with work and other stuff going on. So
right, so no massive narrative dumps, right? You know, blah blah blah. I was just scrolling through, and because I have I don't know every game that you've played, but I have a strong. I think we the three of us have been friends for a very long time, and so we have a good idea about the games that each one of us has played.
Sure.
I went through and counted through our Steam library that we all share, and I counted no less than 36 games that meet the criteria of what you're looking for that I know you have not played. And I'm just saying, let yourself, in these dark times, just let yourself have joy. Choose yourself first. There's nothing that says you need to finish this game. There's nothing that says the CCP is not holding a gun to your head. They are not making you finish this game. That is, you could do anything else. Yeah. Anything.
Yeah. No, it's fair.
Yeah.
It's fair.
So anyway, next week, I can't wait to hear how Wuchang ends, because that's where we're headed towards. But I just needed it out there in the public eye that someone tried to stop you from doing this. Because all it's going to is that you're going to finish this and go, yep, well, that was it. Back to being the most forgettable thing that I won't remember this in 6 months, and then that's
the funniest part, like legitimately the part that like makes me laugh about this game is pretty early on. They have a lot more quests than Elder Scrolls, like side quests where you could, or Elden Ring, sorry, not Elder Scrolls, Souls like. So there's a lot more like interact directly with this character, go do this, bring me something back or whatnot. It's not crazy, but it happens naturally. But pretty early on, you meet a person who's like, hey, help me out. I'm like, okay, so you help them out, and you're like, here's a whistle. If you ever need help, like, blow the whistle, and I'll come and help you, which is, like other Souls-like games, is summon, right, to help you in a boss fight. So pretty early on from that point, like maybe the next boss you fight or the second after that, it's like, if you need help, summon that dude, right? Like it gives you like a tooltip. It's like, okay, I'll summon him, and he helped me beat it. So then I go down and I'm like, man, that was such a cool fight. Here you go. Like, thanks for helping me. Here's your split of what we got, and I'll take part. And he's like, cool. Anyway, I'll be seeing you now. And since then, I have never found a point where I can use that whistle again. I still have it. It's still in my inventory, but you go to blow it, and they're like, nah, not this time. I'm just like, well, what was the point of the one summon? Like, you said if I need help, blow the whistle. He's like, yeah, but only once, I guess. Crazy.
Just let yourself be free. This is all.
He also wants a Christian. A little masochism in him, like he's like I have to have the pain. I have to feel it. To be fair, playing a pretty game is in itself a fun thing to do. I played Outlaws. Outlaws is a very pretty game. Doesn't mean it's a good game, but I played through it all. It was very good looking.
Yeah, but I just don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have that, I guess, but I get it.
So that's all I've played.
Okay.
That's my week.
Yeah, I did a lot of dabbling. I mean, before we get into that, like Alex said, we played a little bit of Arc Raiders. With Christian this week, we did play a little bit of PSO. But other than that,
I still can't beat the fucking mission that
there's a mission that we're on now to where it's like you go through a couple levels, and then you get to a different section in this area to where it's there's no respawn. So if you die, it kicks you out of the lobby and everything, just like you did if you were to complete the mission. Because every time you complete a mission in PSO, it puts you back to the lobby, which is fine for us. It's not a big deal. But when you die in this mission, it takes you all the way back out to the lobby. It kicks you out. Now, I did notice, because Christian and one of our friends was still in the match, I can jump back in the lobby and then get back into that mission if I want to, as long as they stay alive.
Yeah.
But problem is, at the very end of this mission, there's a timer. So it's a whole new section. You got to go through all of it, and you got to find like 3 switches. And you're getting distracted by like these weird traps that pop up. You're getting distracted by enemies occasionally. But we always have a problem of finding those 3 switches before the timer runs out. The only reason I was able to beat it previously is because when I jumped back in the match, those guys were still looking for switches. And I'm like, okay. So I just run all the way towards the end and wait for them to hit the final switch. And then I was able to escape and get the mission complete, but they were not because they were too far away from the exit.
And I took a wrong warp, and it warped me back to the beginning. And so I'm like trying to run. So the first time we get there, I'm like running, and I'm like, oh my God, I might just make this. And then right before I get to the portal, I was maybe 3 steps away from the portal when the time cut out. And so I was like, fuck. All right, whatever. We were close. We'll get it next time. Not a big deal. Preston and I hop on this week. We go do it. And Preston are like, we were going through the level just fine. He and I, 2-man the thing, like we crushed it. And it just got to the timer thing. We're like, all right, fuck. And so we're running around looking for these things. I'm like, I don't know where this one's at. I don't know. And we're getting frozen. We're getting hit. And then by the time we found the right one, it was like, all right, you've got 30 seconds left, and you've got to make it through like these 6 rooms. And it was like, well, that's not going to happen.
There's too many enemies that are going to hurt you. There's too many enemies that are going to paralyze you. That makes you, or slow you down, or confuse you, which means that you can't control your character. It's just a whole lot of things that hinder you to get to that end. And it's just, I think you got to kind of be knowing what you're doing. Like that, don't think they mean for you to beat that the first time. I think it's the first like full stop to where it's like, hey, this is the one that you're probably
you're gonna have to memorize where these switches, because the nice thing is the map isn't random. The map is stagnant, so the map is the same each time.
There's 2 switches in one spot, so like I got those 2 switches. We just couldn't find the third one until the end.
Yeah, but we know where it's at now. But
we do. We just gotta remember the next time we play. Who knows when that is? Other than that, did play a little bit more Yote, but with this video game book club game and just like the shows that I have out, I didn't have a whole good chunk of time this week to play much more of it. But I did notice that Ball Pit had a DLC drop, which was nice. So a free DLC update. So it's just 2 characters, a handful more of like a different type of balls you can get. There's like a catapult ball now. I think I had some weird worm thing that could have been new, could have not been new. I don't know. I just think I see some new shit because I'm going to New Game Plus now. So that's been a lot of fun, but it's been very, very hard. Ball Pit's great. If you haven't played Ball Pit, check it out. Take a little gander. If that looks like up your alley, if you're into one of those games, it's one of the best of one of those games, and it's got some more content out, which is nice. Other than that, we could end off with Star Wars Sundays. So, like I mentioned before, we finished up Racer's Revenge, and then I was going to go into Pod Racer, because I still want some more racing. So, I was trying to get the PC one to work, but for some reason, that fucking cutscenes are going a little small. The menus, for some reason, were like overlapping for me. Like I went to controls. I was trying to get out of controls, but controls are still there, but you're still controlling the menu behind it. It's very confusing. So I'm like, PC's kind of broken. And then the controls were just, I went to controls because the controls were just messing up, and I couldn't find a few of them. And they almost wanted you to pretty much do it on keyboard and mouse unless you like find a controller mod or whatever it is for it, which I wasn't going to do. But we did get through a majority of an N64 run, which was a lot of fun, kind of crushing it. I've seen Reddit posts that people are like, this is a lot easier to remember it. I'm like, yeah, but then you get towards like the last tournament, like the second to last tournament, and there's some fuck you levels in there. Like that Cloud level, it's not Cloud City Bestman, it's like some other thing like it. But Jesus fucking Christ, like there's some turns in there.
Legally
you go off a ramp.
Cloud City.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's just,
it doesn't even have to be legally distinct. They own the IP.
Yeah, they own the IP, but they just want some variety, right? This is a different type of Cloud City. There's more than one Cloud in the Galaxy, Cloud Planet in the Galaxy.
I mean, there's probably more than one city on the planet, so
Yeah,
it
exactly.
could be that too.
But we did get through a lot of that. It was really nice. A little fuzzy, but it still plays much better than Razor's Revenge. And while I was kind of just looking around, I'm like, oh well, I know that some of these older ones have been ported. Like maybe it's on somewhere on the Switch. I found it was on the Switch, but it's also on PlayStation 4/5 and on Xbox consoles. You can get Episode 1 Racer, which is the PC version, which has the graphic upgrade, which has the cutscenes and everything. So after I finish 64, I will be spending the $15 it costs on PSN to get that version of it there, so I can play through a super pretty 60 frames per second version of it and just have all the comparisons right there for us. So that will be concluding the Racer run that we're doing, if you will. And then I got to figure out what we're going to do. PSN still has a bunch of those older classics. Aspire went through and just like cranked out a bunch of them and ported them over. Apparently they're not bad, not as bad as the Battlefront 1 and 2 collection they did. So I'm thinking about maybe messing around with Demolition. I may have to whip out the PS2 and play some Terras Kasi. But we'll do like one or two more older games.
Hell yeah.
And then we'll probably get into KOTOR 2 within the next couple of months. So I'm ready to do that. I'm going to get mods ready for it. Like, it's a whole to-do for the KOTOR 2. I want to make sure it's done right, too.
It is.
As well. So it's...
I can't wait.
That's going to be the big one.
That's going to be a good one.
That's going to be the big one. And they've got that.
And honestly,
Jedi game.
I've always wanted to check out the restored content stuff because I never
did
my only playthrough that I did was on the Xbox. But I was like thinking, and I decided, I was like, you know what? No, I'm not gonna do it. I'll wait for Preston's playthrough.
Watch it.
And I'll experience the restored content that way.
Tickles your fancy, might jump in. But yeah, other than that, not too much new. I got a couple of new shows coming out that I didn't get a chance to watch, like Wonder Man or Shrinking. And then Scrubs comes out next month. So I got a lot on my plate when it comes to shows right now. I got 3 or 4 animes, 3 or 4 live action shows.
I'm on season 2, like episode 15 of Scrubs. I'm trying to watch it fast, but I'm getting behind because I mean it comes out like mid of the.
It does. I just kind of put it in the background for a little bit. I did watch like the pilot one again. Holy fuck! When you go from the pilot to like later on in that season, this hospital is in such shitty condition in the pilot version of it. Like you're seeing like the walls are dirty, the vents and everything all broken and dirty. Like you could definitely tell they just started filming the show and have not done a whole lot of renovations to this hospital yet. And it looks much better once you get into later episodes of that first season. But yeah, I was watching the first episode. I'm like, I do not remember the hospital looking like this much trash. But like, yep, they just got this hospital. They just started filming in it, and it got better. But holy shit, like that was a rough thing to watch. But yeah, it's great. If you guys haven't watched any Scrubs yet, do it. Got a new season coming out. It's gonna be great. Yeah. Other than that, week.
You got a new character in Street Fighter coming out soon too.
I do. That's like 2 months or something like that. But yeah, we got that coming in March.
No, it's next month, I think.
That was March. That was like March or April. You gotta check it, but I'm pretty sure it's March.
Oh, I thought they said late February.
I don't believe so. We can look it up right now.
Oh, here, I got it. I'll look it up. I got it.
But actually, no. Let me look it up because do you want to still bring your little question to the table?
I can do that. I mostly just wanted to bring it because I was just thinking, middle of March. Yeah, March 17th. I was mostly thinking because his gameplay trailer got released. And some of the shit that he can do, man.
He looks like Street Fighter's king. Like I'm super happy about it. Like I'm super excited. Like,
he does.
He's the heel, dude. And what's the wrestler's name that is a big proponent of it? I think he does the voice acting for it as well, and did the motion capture too.
Oh, Kenny Omega. I think is doing it.
Yeah. So Kenny Omega has he's doing the motion cap for this character, but I think they got a lot of his moves in it. And one of the moves that he has, like one of his ultimates. I think it's level 3, but he tosses the dude up in the air. He puts him on his shoulder, and he kind of does this big stand thing with the lights and everything go off, and then one wing black comes out just a little bit in reference to Final Fantasy VII One-Winged Angel, because he's such a fan of Final Fantasy VII. He got the team to put that in there because that's like one of his wrestling things, I guess, which I thought was really, really cool. But I'm super excited about it. I like a good grapple boy. Zangief is pretty cool. Potemkin is my favorite. But Alex looks to be a lot of fun. So I'm super. I'm probably gonna get pretty hard into Street Fighter 6 if that feels good to me. I'll probably get pretty hard into it once that happens. harder than I have.
So the thing that I was going to bring up was a game that came out recently that none of us have played, but it got me thinking because I've seen it and I was looking at it and I checked it out on the Steam page too, but High Guard came out.
I see that,
and it has released to 28,000 mostly negative reviews on Steam.
It's a free game.
Is what they're at, right? So it's a free game. So yeah, anybody can get it. But
just for
I was
people
looking at
that
it,
aren't quite sure, High Guard is the hero shooter, right? That's very like Overwatch and all these different games.
Yeah,
so it's a mix of them.
It's a mix of all of these things, right?
Yeah.
So
Apex Titanfall developers that left started making their own studio, so this is self-published and everything. Free-to-play game that Keighley asked to put at the very end of the Game Awards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to shadow drop the game, which is why we didn't hear anything about it until release again.
To the biggest letdown of an award show I've ever seen. It was the most bland trailer.
right.
It didn't need
I've
the last
ever
trailer.
seen.
Yeah.
But so and honestly though, I think that it would have been an issue even if it was the first trailer. Like it would to Preston, to your point, because I was going to bring this up, which is that Keighley begged for this. He wanted it to be shown at the team. Like they did not come to him, nothing like that. Their plan was to shadow drop this one day, like release the trailer
Just
and
like
then go,
Apex.
and it's out now, and then just be done, right? And that's what they were going to do. I don't think that it would have changed anything. In fairness,
No,
I don't
it's
think
still
that
the
it
same
would have
game. Yeah.
it would have changed anything. But I think that this game is a snapshot, like a perfect snapshot of the problem of modern games. And it feels like everything that I've seen from this game looks like that it is trying to be a little bit like Counter-Strike, and then a little bit like Dota or League of Legends, and then a little bit like Overwatch,
A little bit like
and
Siege,
a little bit
like this,
and then a little bit like Fortnite. And then they're like, if we can get what if we take little bits of all four of these big games, and then we'll get all of the people from all of those games, and they'll come here, and then that's it. That's the recipe for success. Nothing. Like I don't want to be like super negative, because obviously like people worked very hard on this game,
and we didn't play it.
but like
I don't know. I watched a streamer play the other day.
I watched
seen streams too.
I watched like
and
I watched
I
like
don't-
over an hour of it.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how
But-
to not be negative. It's
Doesn't
the
look
most...
for me.
But how it comes
it's
off.
not even. It's not even that.
But-
To Christian's point, it's a little bit of everything. But even if you're gonna do that, like come up with something fresh and inspired. Like even the heroes look boring as hell. Like there's nothing that says "Come try me."
Right. Well, that's what I was saying. It's like, it's you, like your art style is whatever. Like the art style being bland and uninspired. That's my opinion on it. But like and I know that we all feel that way. But what I feel the same way about I feel the same way about Fortnite. But Fortnite's the biggest thing in the world, so it doesn't really matter. But like
but this is 28,000 negative reviews, so clearly it's a universal thought
but I
in a
think
lot of ways.
but I think the negative reviews are more so of like the game, like playing the game aspect of it, which is like when you get in there, you're doing nothing. You try to do all these little things from other things to slam it together to be like, here and this is what our product is. This is our spin or whatever. But like it feels that way with modern games as a whole, which is like any new game that comes out that's like from a bigger studio. It's like what we're trying to do is like, oh, it's this plus this, and then we slam it together like that. And there's nothing in a lot of places. Things will just be like, and that's it. That's all we did. There you go. We put 2 things or 3 things. In this case, 5 things that are all like little bits of this, and we just slammed it together, shipped it, and here you go. Awesome. And it always takes like us waiting around to get something like a, like when a game that like truly blows us all away, where we're like, oh my god, you know, this is insane and blah blah blah, where it's a unique, fresh take on something or whatever. But like for the most part, it feels like every game that we have to deal with recently, from like that's why I said from like a modern game perspective, is just this is the problem. And I think that the problem with High Guard is that they've done it better / worse than anyone before them, which is I have never seen something that has tried to put so many pieces of into a puzzle and then have it come out as a blank puzzle. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's like, it's like you threw all of these seasonings into a dish and then you were like, you put the lid on and you were like, I'm gonna let this cook, and you opened it up and it was a brick of plain tofu. And you're like, how did that happen? I put like all 11 herbs and spices in here. And you're like, yeah, I don't know, but you somehow unlocked plain tofu. That's what you got. Like, it's just, anyway, that whole thing led to, I have been seeing more, and I'm sure part of it is just the algorithm, but I've seen more and more people who are much younger than all of us trying to figure out what they're going to do from like a content perspective, right? Because there's just no new things that are grabbing them. And they will be posting videos about games that like we all take for granted that we just know of very well. But they will be posting videos like, wait, way back in the day, people had games like this? And it's like, does this thing? And I'm just like, on the one hand, I'm like, it's very cool that more people are finding out about all of these games that we love, that we all have, that Preston has back on his thing, I have back on my thing, like, all, you know, all this stuff. On the other hand, it is upsetting also that it's like, I'm happy that people are finding out about it because it's cool, and you know, I obviously, especially a lot of the older games, I think are better and great in a lot of ways, and so it's like, it's cool that more people are experiencing them, but also it's like, dude, what do you mean that you thought that was just what games were and that you never had an idea to think about what was happening before? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, that's, you just
they
were like,
follow what the cool thing is, like what would get like the clicks on their TikToks and their, you know, YouTubes or whatever, and that they kind of stick with what gets them the popularity, and then all of a sudden they get bored of what they do. They don't have anything to go back with because there's only one Fortnite. So they start to dabble in games they've heard of, and they start playing those. And like, oh my god, this game is so great! Never even heard of this. Oh, they make a good Star Wars RPG like KOTOR. Holy shit, that was what, 20 years ago? That's crazy.
The worst one that I've seen so far was one that I just it was a streamer that, you know, was like, had like a big audience or whatever, but they are playing through Okami for the first time, but they went, the thing for Okami was straight up was oh, thank you, baby. They were like, the actual thing they said for the description was, I am mad at everybody who never told me this game existed. And I was like, my brother in Christ, this game has just, it's been around since the PS2. Like, you could have just...
yeah, but they weren't around since the PS2, so they never heard of it, Christian. Yeah.
However, yeah, I mean, it's not too different than like when we were younger. If you only had one console, right, and there were more exclusives back in the day, same, right? Like, I would only hear about games if I went to my friend's house and they had that game.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, yeah.
My argument is that now you have the internet. I don't have to wait to like travel to my cousin's house to see his N64 and then be like, wait, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like,
that's fair.
Either way.
Yeah.
My point is with all this, seeing all these people go back and discover all these old games and then being blown away, and then they all of a sudden start getting upset at the state of modern games. My question to both of you, what I wanted to bring up, is, do you think, because we have talked about how we think that the video game industry right now is like in a slow crash, like it's just been slowly getting worse, and the bubble's getting bigger and bigger and bigger
because it's too big.
No. But do you think that we're going to start to see, like Ubisoft recently, you know, closed a bunch of like laid off a bunch of fucking people, closed a bunch of studios, and they're trying to reevaluate what their business is going to look like going forward because they just aren't making enough money anymore.
Also, did you guys see, sorry, I don't mean to derail us, I just want to call this out, because one of the games that survived all those cancellations at Ubisoft was Beyond Good
No,
and Evil
it
2.
didn't. That's a lie. Preston and I talked about this the other night. They are lying.
You know what?
That is a lie.
They have Jordan Gordon. They have JGL in a basement somewhere, locked away, being like, "You and your fans will make our content for us."
I just want to call it out. Apparently that survived.
Let's cancel the Prince of Persia
just a
remake,
pure
but
lie.
let's keep fucking Beyond Good and Evil fucking 2. Jesus.
Yeah, that's just not real. So the question I had though was, do you think that we are going to start to see some of these bigger studios that we did not think, or that we thought were going to be able to die slower? Do we think that we're going to start to see them fall off faster now with the advent of more people who were never interested in going back before? Now more people. I mean, like, we even saw it with Alex. Like, Alex for the longest time was not interested in going back to look at all these old games, and now he's like, actually, maybe not. And that, to be fair, I'm not. This is not a dig at you. I'm just saying you are. Like, you're going back now. You own multiple retro consoles now and multiple old games. But that's why. Do we think we're gonna start to see more of that? Like that side of the hobby getting
I think
bigger.
you could. I mean, that the whole point to me is like, with how expensive games are becoming, with how expensive systems, like, we're approaching the point to where like we would be getting a PS6 soon. Like, as far as like how many years are in between the consoles, like, if they follow the same year releases and everything, we would be getting a PS6 either next year or the year after, right? And to be fair,
I think the year after.
I don't really fucking want the PS6. Like, please make your next like big games on both consoles, because A, it's gonna be expensive as fuck. You're gonna be looking at probably close to around $8,000 to $1,000 because the Steam machine is gonna come out. People are gonna buy the Steam machine, and Steam is really smart about it by making like, they get the orders in and they make the machines, right? So like, they're pretty good when it came to like the Steam Deck of like being able to not make too much,
match the demand.
Actually, they're pretty good at that. So I think they're going to see what the Steam machine does. If the Steam machine actually does decently, they're like, cool, our consoles are going to be now $8,000 to $1,000 because it's a computer. Especially Xbox. Xbox is going to do it because they're going to want to take a PC with an Xbox label on it.
I actually don't think they'll base their price off the Steam Deck. I do think that those prices are probably legitimate, but for completely different reasons.
Sure.
Which is demand of hardware right
that
now.
too.
Yeah.
And hopefully the AI bubble
and hard
drops off
drives,
before
everything else.
they make the new consoles, so that way they won't be as expensive. But the tariffs, who fucking knows? We'll see. But you have that, and you have the fact that they are getting bored of the same stuff that we're getting regurgitated out to them over and over again. So they have to go back to some of these. And luckily, like I mentioned before, I can buy all these old fucking Star Wars games as ports on PlayStation, and they work perfectly fine. Like, they have older games that are coming out there that we just don't even realize are on those systems because they don't do any fanfare about marketing it, even. So, I mean, it's...
Yeah.
I see the game industry as, like, any other media industry except younger. So, like, look at movies, right? Like, the movie industry has its... Outside of COVID, has its, like, stagnant times, has its times where it's just pumping out garbage. Like, people always talk about, superhero fatigue and stuff like that. But then you have like the past couple of years where A24's been, other companies have been making really good like independent movies, different movies, and people are getting excited about going to the movies and going to see those movies because I think
Are they though?
I mean, maybe my circle only. Maybe
I don't
my
think
circle
they
only. Who
are.
knows? But
Yeah.
yeah. But either way, I see better movies. I feel being made more artistically drawn movies rather than just like as many cookie cutter ones getting the promotion. But maybe that's just me and my algorithm.
But
I don't think that's the case. I think what you're seeing is because blockbusters don't get the draw they used to, or because of blockbusters are typically the superheroes right now, you're seeing theaters take a chance on some of those others. And if you look today at pre-COVID, with Netflix and Amazon and Apple and everybody else, you have far more studios than you ever had. So you have people producing movies. I actually don't think that's translating to much, right? Sure. As far as like people going to the theaters and other stuff. Mm-hmm. And I mean, if it did, you wouldn't have Netflix coming out saying, "Hey, if this Warner Brothers deal goes through, we're gonna have a 17-day turnaround for movie runs." Like, it used to be movies ran for 3 months. They're literally going to knock it down to 17 days, which shows nobody goes to the movies. Nobody cares.
Yeah. I think you're seeing that stuff, Preston, because you are like a movie head. Like you just
Sure. That's probably me and my algorithm.
you know
right?
what I mean.
Yeah.
But same way that like when people used to complain about like before all of this, when there was people who used to complain like, oh my god, I'm just like we would get those few people that would be like, I'm just tired of playing Call of Duty all the time, and then we like people would be like, guys, there's people making cool games all the fucking time. Like it's right. And so you'd point them to more indie stuff or whatever. I think that's a similar thing to what's happening to movies. But like right now, it just feels like now there's like a bigger like. One of the things that I saw was like this guy who was he had I guess made his career off of playing like sports games, and he's playing through Mass Effect right now, like the whole trilogy, and he's like some part of the way through Mass Effect 2, and there's like this one. I don't remember what scene it was, but he like pauses in the middle of the scene and he like leans forward to the microphone. He goes, "I am so fucking happy I stopped playing 2K." Like he just was like he just was like, I didn't think that this was a thing. You know what I mean? And we're seeing more and more people like that. Like it would feel like if somebody stopped watching, like the kind of movies that are hitting theaters and then going to see like what you're talking about, going to see one of those A24, like a big critic, or whatever, or people. Like I don't even know if there is movie influencers. To be fair, I'm sure there is, but like
Yeah, you got podcasters and shit. Yeah.
But like going out to someone and being like, man, I'm so happy that I stopped I'm so happy that I'm going to see this or these kind of movies now. Or I didn't know that these kind of movies were out that whatever, right? Like, I think gaming is kind of unique in that I don't know that there's a medium that kind of has that thing like that. But I don't know. I feel like now more than ever, and I've started to notice it in some of the prices for some of this retro stuff that like Preston and I are looking for, where there's some prices of games like I looked up the other day.
I was watching a YouTube video, and it was of the game together, a nearby place. He's like, yeah, we got Simpsons Hit and Run here. And he showed the price on it. That game is over $100 right now, because it keeps going up in price.
Dude, but the craziest thing is that when Preston and I, like, before, this isn't even that long ago, 4 years ago, Preston and I could have went into any store and found that game for $5 fucking
$5,
like
maybe even 20 to 30.
They don't make
maybe 20.
They don't make that game anymore, and nobody makes money off that game anymore. So like, I could probably direct you to some places to get it for even cheaper than $5.
I understand
if you have a Steam Deck to play it on.
The point is,
right? But
if you want it,
yes,
properly, yeah,
correct. But that's my point, though, is that the reason those prices are going up is because there is a demand now that I was not even there, not 4 years ago, not 3 years ago.
Keeps going up, yeah.
It's only been happening recently. Like, I just noticed the other day, like, the one that I was going to look up was way, way, way back. I found, this was probably 8 years ago now, but I found a PS1 copy of Diablo 1, which is the only time, like, it hit consoles. Diablo 1 is the only one that hit consoles. Everything else was PC after that, right? So, well, up until Diablo 3, and it had a console version. But the point was, for the longest time, Diablo was a PC franchise. But that PS1 copy, back then I got it, and it was like $40, and that was like a relatively expensive one at the time. I was like, oh, cool, I had it way back then, I want it now, great, blah, 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 I've got it. Over the last couple of years, that game has quadrupled. It is $120 now.
Jesus.
And it's like, but it's because people are going back and like trying to find these and play these things, and they want to do it this way, and it's a whole thing for them now. And you see these prices going up, and it's not like it's not like TCG stuff where it's scalpers, right? Because you're not, to Alex, to your point, they're not making these games anymore. So it's not like you can buy all the copies up and then jack the price up, and you're scalping nothing. So it's just people that like, it's just straight up a demand now, and I feel like with all of that plus these things, me personally, I hope it does happen because it's cool to see this, but I do think that we're going to start to see more people be done or be fed up, I think, with the current state of, like, I shouldn't even say modern gaming because there's tons of modern games that come up. We play them every year, but like modern AAA gaming, let's say, or modern mainstream maybe gaming, whatever that is. But I think more people are going to continue to get upset and try to go find other things in this hobby
Yeah, I think it depends for me personally. Like, price is always going to hold people back.
Sure.
Prices are getting worse, but also like, if that just becomes the price now, it's not going to stop anybody from buying games, right? Like, it just is what it is. I do think that the reliance of AI is going to turn people off, and I don't just mean like
That too.
AI generated content, because I do know there are people that get very upset about like how in depth developers use AI, and that's fine. But I don't think that number is as big. Like, I think it's a lot of people like us that get mad at that, but like, I don't think the average gamer
most people don't care.
cares. It never hits their news, right? However, where people will start to get annoyed is when you have an AI assistant like Navi in Ocarina of Time that pops up and tells you everywhere to go, or like if you can't get something,
it sounds like hell.
It plays it itself, which is what Nvidia has announced recently, right? Like that game companion that is like, hey, if you can't handle it, we'll just help. AI will just help you. That sounds like a hellscape.
I didn't see that.
Did you not see that? Yeah, so Nvidia at CS, with some of their new gaming computers and like the Razer and stuff like that, they want to implement more AI into their system, which is literally like it recognizes the game you're playing. It can give you little tooltips, but like if you get to a point where you can't beat things, it will do it for you. And like that just sounds like a terrible experience. Like that becomes no different in me just watching a Let's Play. And there's nothing wrong with that. I watch Let's Plays all the time, but like, why would I ever buy it if I'm not even out here to play it, right? Like, it's just, I don't know. I think people will start to get really annoyed with the force feeding of that sort of stuff, and get turned off that way. But,
yeah.
So we'll see.
I was just interested. I keep seeing more people go back and try this stuff, so I wanted to get your guys' take on it, because I think that
I've seen a lot of that too.
We're heading towards a path.
I've seen a lot of it too. I just don't know.
We're on a path, I should say.
Yeah, I just don't know how much is accurate and how much is my algorithm. So like, it's you know, it's hard for me to judge it.
That's why I brought up the
like
prices stuff.
I've seen a lot more of it.
That's why I brought up the prices stuff, because I felt like the prices were a more broad, like indication of people playing. Like to Preston's point about Simpsons Hit and Run now $50, $60. That's crazy.
It's over 100.
Or over 100 now, right? That's what I meant. That's crazy to me, and that's a great game.
Yeah, I saw it there. I'm like,
Simpsons Hit and Run.
I would pick up Simpsons Hit and Run. I'm like, what's the price in that tag? I'm like, hey, that's 3 digits. I'm not doing that for Simpsons Hit and Run. I'm not doing that.
No.
Nope.
And that's what I mean, right? But I think that's why I brought that up, is because I think that's a better indicator of how widespread this actually seems like it's becoming now.
Yeah. I mean, I think we'll see how it trickles down to the younger generation. I definitely think you see people our age that are relying on nostalgia, that look at the current price of games, look at other things, or like, these just aren't fun, right? Or like, I can't keep up. I'll be honest, like, I can't keep up on a Fortnite. My reaction time isn't that fast for what some of these kids are out here doing and have been playing forever. But like, nor do I care to try.
I can't keep up with the menu on Fortnite. I tried to blow it up that one time. Like, I can't even figure out what the fuck I'm doing here.
Yeah, so like, I would rather rely on nostalgia and go back to play some of the things like I know and I love. So I definitely think like with people that are maybe a little bit older, you're definitely going to see that. We'll just see how it continues to trickle down.
And our generation is the generation that played probably more games than, like, as far as the first generation to play games more. Yeah, there's plenty people before us like Asteroids and Pac-Man, but like, we had Super Nintendo and like all the big consoles, and now they're starting to hit their strides and shit, and then we're going back to it now. And it's just our generation. We're getting more money. We're wanting to go back to the old shit, and now it's getting more expensive. So
that's what I mean, though. I like some of the videos I've seen are people in their early 20s now. You know,
most of them are
like going back to
games.
They're not
gonna bother to buy. Like, I can just fucking download the emulation for it.
I think that, to be fair, I think that's a lot of the videos that we see. Yeah. Like that Okami one, I am quite positive that dude does not have a PS2 sitting next to him playing Okami. I'm sure he's emulating. But my point is that there's a 20-something playing Okami and then being like, oh my god, I'm so mad that people never told me this game existed. You know, like that kind of thing.
Yeah,
and
I'm not even
more and more of that.
I'm not even mad if it is just the ROMs, like, in the emulation, because, like, who cares? But if you really start to fall in love with that stuff, those people will then eventually go out and get themselves.
Yes,
because they want it.
Like, it's the gateway, right? So even if you are just playing the emulation, that's fine. because it'll lead to something else.
Sure.
For sure. Yeah. If nothing
The
else,
last,
it
the
leads
last
to
thing, the
better
last thing I
taste.
need, the last thing I need is a bunch of fucking millennials out here, or not millennial, we're millennials. A bunch of like Gen Zers and Gen Alpha out there trying to compete with me about buying retro shit.
You weren't even born with this, mate. You don't get to have it. Fuck you.
I have a job. They live at home. They use their parents' money. I don't need to compete with that.
Yeah.
So anyway. All right. Well, don't forget to tune in this weekend with Preston as he gets back to Star Wars Sundays. And then, of course, check in later this week as we do our part 1 of our Bioshock playthrough. So we'll have new episodes for that. And with that, Preston, you know what to do.
Thank you for listening to another episode of The Testing Room. To catch up on past episodes or to check out the newest ones when they drop, follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcast. If watching is more your thing, check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/@thetestingroom, or watch us live on twitch.tv/testingroomlive. To leave comments or ask questions, you can follow us on Instagram @testingroompod, leave a comment on YouTube, or send them in to testingroompod@gmail.com. See you next time.